Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So 39-year-old Virginia resident and Marine veteran Myles Adkins headed to the Capitol after Donald Trump's speech. And he told investigators that he tried to contact the Oath Keepers. Apparently he had met them previously at a rally, but he was never able to get in touch with them on January 6th. But Adkins followed the mob onto the restricted grounds. He messaged a friend when he got there, and he described the scene as, quote, crazy shit ton of pepper spray. Clearly knew it wasn't a, happy, peaceful protest. And then Adkins later admitted to the FBI that he saw people fighting with the police. He heard loud noises, which he identified as flashbang grenades. So again, he knew. And Adkins also claimed there were no barricades when he arrived at the Capitol, which is just completely laughable. And the FBI even found photos that he had sent to a friend, and there were area closed signs in the background of his photo. So the guy knew he was not welcome at the Capitol. He ignored all of these warnings. He followed the mob to the Upper West Terrace after they broke through a bunch of different police lines, as you all know. And just 2 minutes after the Senate wing doors were breached, Adkins was seen illegally entering the building. So he walked toward the Senate side of the Capitol first. They say that he encountered some police along the way, and then eventually Adkins made his way back to the Senate wing doors. But instead of leaving the Capitol at that point, he stood at a window next to the doors, and he was waving for other people to come inside. And Adkins was also seen helping another person come through that broken window, helping them climb in. And then he and that person walked toward the Capitol crypt together. And while he was in the Capitol, Adkins messaged someone and he said, quote, I'm getting food, then fighting. And quote, I drank Fireball and a Coors Light in the Capitol. And then the friend replied, quote, don't let it be for nothing. And Adkins replied to that with a racist term and, quote, you know this. A while later, Adkins was seen in the visitor center, and he maneuvered to the front of a group that was confronting officers. Now, ultimately, the police forced Adkins and the others out of that area and back up to the crypt, and then Adkins was then seen drinking Fireball whiskey. He was yelling, he was chanting and dancing around in there. Bet that was a sight. Wonder if he did the white man overbite, or no, I guess like the Trump move, overbite, not underbite. Anyway, I'm thinking of a dog, like a dog to scrub for the customer. Anyway, Adkins finally exited the building more than an hour after entering, and he yelled to the mob outside, quote, let's go get a beer. And then later that night, someone messaged him and said, quote, stand down, Marine, protect your job, go home, I love you. So Adkins didn't respond until the following morning, early the following morning. And then when he did, he excused his crimes. He said, quote, got a country to defend. And then the following day, Adkins sent messages to another person and he bragged, quote, shit was nuts. So the other person responded with, quote, I heard Antifa took the Capitol, or was that us? And then Adkins proudly said, us. So they all admitted it, even though they tried to deny it later. And then in the days that followed, Adkins told another couple of friends not to talk about his crimes. He said, don't share any of my photos with anybody. So he knew he was in trouble. He knew that he had committed crimes and he could get in trouble. But he later told the police or the FBI he did nothing wrong. He said, I was just exercising my First Amendment right to protest. Why wouldn't you want people to share photos of that then? I don't understand. So then the FBI interviewed him in June of 2024. And so just recently, and he admitted that, yeah, I entered the Capitol with the intent to delay the certification of the election. Now, unfortunately, he wasn't charged with obstructing an official proceeding, or, it wouldn't have mattered at this point anyway, since the Supreme Court decided to give them all a pass on that. So it's probably, a wash as it stands now. But Adkins was arrested on February 27th of 2024, and he was charged with only entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and parading or demonstrating in a Capitol building. In July of 2024, Adkins pleaded guilty to 2 misdemeanors, so disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds and parading in a Capitol building. And so he faced up to 6 months in prison, 5 years of probation, and $5,000 in fines for each of those misdemeanors. So he pleaded guilty and was sentenced, I believe, the same day, which is why it's happening, now this same month. But the prosecutor requested only 45 days in prison, 3 years of probation, 60 hours of community service, and $500 in restitution. A pathetic sentence when you consider this guy's criminal history. So in 2014, Adkins was convicted for a hit and run. Shockingly, they gave him only probation for that. And then the prosecutor said he was convicted several times after that hit and run for driving with a suspended license. And after his crimes at the Capitol, Adkins was convicted again in June of 2023 for reckless driving. But his original arrest under that case was for driving under the influence and refusing to take a breath test. And check this out. This is just mind-blowing. This guy is a school board member. These are the same people who claim the left is a bad influence on children, right? I mean, they're always whining about drag queens, they're always banning books, indoctrination. This guy is literally making decisions for children, and he can't get his shit together, and he keeps committing crimes. I would trust my kids with a drag queen over this criminal any day of the week. Any day. So anyway, U.S. District Judge Trevor McFadden presided over Adkins' case. And his previous convictions, he said, were concerning. But in the end, he sentenced Adkins to only 12 days in prison. And he said, you can serve that intermittently on the weekend. So 6 weekends. And then also 2 years of probation. So nowhere near enough. Not for somebody with this history. I mean, if you're so low that you'd commit a hit and run, you absolutely you deserve to be behind bars, and for a long time. This guy very obviously thinks that the rules don't apply to him. And he's refusing calls to resign from the school board too. People are saying, he's got to go. This is somebody who's making us look bad. It's a bad impression of our school district, and, bad influence on children. And he's like, no, sorry, I'm not going anywhere. So, this is the MAGA line now. They just dig their heels in, refuse to do what's right. Yeah, because they think that they're always right themselves. Anyway, if I hear any more about him, I will let you know. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe to the channel if you have not. Please donate if you possibly can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.